Hi, this is Frank Taylor with Nature at Your Door, and if you haven't already guessed, yes, that is a California redwood behind me, a giant sequoia. And where am I? Well, I'm not in California, and of all places, I'm in Lugano, Switzerland, and this is a giant redwood. In this episode, I'm going to tell you the story about this tree that's apparently thriving here, how old it is, how it got here, and a little bit about the Gorgio Washington monument that's close by. So stay tuned for this very interesting episode from Lugano, Switzerland. Right here in your backyard. You never know what you're going to find. So I'm here in Lugano, Switzerland in late March, and I'm walking down along the lakefront here on this promenade. And being inquisitive, of course, I like to check out all the local sculptures. And in this one, I walk over and I think, wait a minute, that looks like Gorgio Washington. And I take a closer look, and in fact, it is Gorgio Washington. Gorgio Washington. And I thought, what the heck is the Washington Monument doing here in Lugano, Switzerland, of all places? So I came over here, and here is a plaque, and it turns out that it's here along with the giant sequoia that I just told you about. And this is the remains of a grand villa here that was demolished in 1907, and it was built around 1850 by an Italian businessman who made his wealth and fortune and found happiness in the US, and he came back here and built this estate. And it's sort of in gratitude for the opportunity that he had in the US. He was very happy there. He did really well as an entrepreneur, and so he did this, also connected in with the fact that Gorgio Washington was a Freemason, and this gentleman that built the villa was also a Freemason. So here we have the Gorgio Washington monument and the sequoia that was planted here as well. So you can imagine my surprise when I was walking down the street here in Lugano and saw this giant sequoia. I knew right away what it was, but I was just stunned to find it here. And look at this spot that it's growing. It's on a narrow strip of grass right here between a bus lane and the main road front along the front of the Lugano, the lakefront here. And it's a magnificent tree. Climate here must be just right for a tree like this to thrive, and it is truly a California redwood, and it was brought here probably somewhere around 1850 from the Americas, from California, to be planted here. A lot of the great villas had amazing gardens, and this villa here was no exception to that rule. And they often found beautiful and exotic plants to plant. And of course, this villa is long since gone, and the roads have been built around it since 1850, but it still seems to be doing great, and is a testament to this amazing species and its ability to thrive. Here by the lake, it's a rather moderate environment, and it's more Mediterranean. There's also olive trees and palm trees and grapes and fig trees that grow wild here. And so it's not the typical Swiss environment. We have warm Mediterranean human air damming up against the foothills of the Alps, which are right here. And so it makes it a very similar environment to where this tree thrives. and it just amazes me. It's probably, I think it was measured at 26 feet in circumference, how cars can just disappear completely behind it. I've done several episodes on my channel about big trees. I'm fascinated by big trees and big tree registries, and finding and looking for and celebrating those big specimens wherever they are. And I found this one here on a website called Monumental Trees that describes big trees around the world. And I was very impressed with this particular one, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. Remember, if you like what I do on this channel, please subscribe, give me a like, and I'd love hearing from my viewers. What'd you think of this episode today? And remember, I cover all things nature, from frogs, toads, snakes, and turtles, the myriapoda, insects, trees, wildflowers, and fungi. I cover all the things you might encounter just outside your door. So thanks again for watching this episode of Nature at Your Door.